Hello students, welcome again in this class for the students of standard 9th. Today in this session we will study our new book Moments. This is our supplementary reader and we will study the first chapter of this, The Lost Child. This is written by Mulkraz Anand. So let's start. Brief introduction of Mulkraz Anand. He was born 12th December 1905 and he died 28 September 2004. He was an Indian English novelist and he has written literature for social upliftment, depicts the inhuman plight, and he was influenced by Mahatma Gandhi's love and sympathy for the downtrodden in the society. So student, that is the brief introduction of Mulkraz Anand. Let's start to read this chapter, The Lost Child. Before you read. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse them when someone else offers them to him? The Lost Child is the story of a small child who gets lost in a fair. He had gone with his parents to the fair but loses them when he gets engrossed by looking at roundabout swing. The story highlights the bond of love and affection that the child shares with his parents. Before losing them, he had been demanding different things like sweets, balloons, flowers, etc. Once he loses them, he is picked up by a stranger, but the child doesn't want them anymore. He wants his parents. When the child is lost, he doesn't want anything. He wants only his parents. So this story starts with the season of spring. The people of the village came out of their houses in a colorful attire and walked towards the fair. So let's start to read the first paragraph. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alley, here LA means streets, emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy reigned between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So the story set in the spring season. As the winter season had just ended, all the people came out their houses. They were cheerful as the chilling cold weather had ended. People conveyed through different modes, foods, horses, bamboo carts, bullock carts, and a little child was accompanied by his parents. He ran excitedly and often banged into his father's leg. He was full of life, excitement, and laughter. Here emerged means came out, and brimming over means to be full of something. Come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops and lined the way. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. Here lagged behind means was left behind, and fascinated by means attracted to. Lined the way were set up along the way. So here the child was attracted to the toys which were displayed at the various stalls. As he would be left behind, his parents would call him to come with them. Lingering means lasting for a long time, receding, left behind as he walked ahead, and suppress means put an end to, cold, without any feeling, without any emotion. So the child was obedient and would walk towards them on being called, but his eyes would keep on looking at the toys that he wanted. Here we come to know that he hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress. Here suppress means put an end to. the desire of his heart. And even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes, cold means without any feeling, emotions. So, as he reached them, he couldn't control his desire to buy a toy. He was familiar to the reaction that his parents would give. He knew that they would stare at him, indicating denial to buy him the toys. Means he was familiar that his parents would refuse to buy the toys. The child knew the emotionless way in which they would stare at him. I want that toys, he pleaded. He requested that he want that toys. The child was unable to control his desire any longer. He said that he wanted to buy the toys. His father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant way. Tyrant means dictator. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting yellow as it swept across miles and miles of even land. Here, tyrant means a cruel and oppressive ruler. The father's eyes grew red with anger. He looked at the child just like a cruel ruler who was trying to oppress him. Melted means became tender and loving. The mother became emotional due to the cheerful mood, and lovingly she gave her finger to the child to hold and guided him to a place. She asked him to see what was in front of him. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melted gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So there was a vast field full of bright yellow colored mustard flowers, and they seemed like flowering streams of gold and were widespread. A group of dragonflies were bursting about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze till one of them would still its wing and rest, and he would try to catch it. A group of dragonflies, black bees, butterflies buzzed around, sucking the nectar from the flowers. The child looked at them as they flew around. When one of the sat somewhere, he tried to catch them, but the tiny creature would fly away the next moment. Right? So here the little boy was trying to catch the butterfly, but the next moment he would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. When he had almost caught it in his hand, then his mother gave a cautionary call. "Come, child, come on to the footpath." Here, pale means dull, colorless, and gaudy means extremely bright and showy. Here, mother called out to him as they started walking down the footpath. Move to next paragraph. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insect and worm along the footpath that were filming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Here, abreast means side by side and facing the same way, teeming out to pour or empty out. So here, child ran towards his parents. He walked next to them, but after a few steps, he stopped to see the insects who were coming out of the soil. Once again, the child was left behind. "Come, child, come," his parents called from the shade of a grave where they had seated themselves on the edge of a wall. He ran towards them, and shower of young flower fell upon the child as he entered the grave, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. Here, grove means a small wood or group of trees. The parents called him. They sat next to the well under the shady tree. The child once again ran and joined his parents. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. As child entered the shady forested area, he was welcomed by a shower of flowers. He forgot his parents and started collecting the petals that had fallen. But lo, he heard the cooing of dove and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hand. Just then he heard the cooing of dove and was excited to see them. He started chasing the birds in the process and petals fell from his hand. And this shows that as the child got attracted towards the next thing, he forgot that he had been doing earlier. "Come, child, come," they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree. And gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. Here, capers means a playful skipping movement. The parents called the child who was running and playing around a banyan tree. They lifted him and walked down a narrow, twisting lane through which they crosses the mustard field and reached the fair. Next paragraph. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of thorns converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Throngs means huge crowds. Converging, gathering. As they were about to reach the fair, the child saw a huge crowd of people walking from all directions towards the fair. The dense crowd scared him and he stepped back for a while. A sweetmeat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. As the entrance of the fair to one corner, a sweetmeat seller, the child stared open and his mouth watered for the barfi. That was his favorite sweet. "I want that barfi," he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he backed that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy, so without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Here, heeded means paid attention to. The boy's mouth watered when he sight his favorite barfi. He expressed his desire to get in a low voice because he knew that his request would be refused by his parents. They would say that he was greedy for the barfi. As he didn't expect that his demand would be fulfilled, he walked further, right? A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, "I want that." The next stall was that of a flower seller. He announced that he was selling garland of gulmohar flower. The child wanted one of those. He walked towards the basket of flowers and again announced his desire that have one in low voice because he knew that his demand would not be fulfilled. But he well knew that his parents would refuse to buy them, those flowers, because they would say that they were cheap. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. They would refuse to buy him the flower as they would say that they were cheap. Again, the boy walked ahead without expecting a reply from his parents. Next thing that the child came across was balloon seller selling balloon of different colors of the rainbow. The boy was attracted to the shiny color of the balloons and wanted to have them all. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloon because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. The boy was attracted to the shiny colors of the balloon and wanted to have them all. So here the little boy knew that his parents would not buy the balloon for him as they would reason that he was too old to play with them. So the child walked further, means his age is not as small as for playing the balloons, right? Move to next paragraph. So he walked on further. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake, which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan. While the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall, the child went towards the snake charmer. Here the child was attracted towards the flute that snake charmer was playing. Then he paused at a snake charmer who was playing a flute, and the snake was twisting its neck to the music. The snake had coiled itself in a basket and had raised its head out. It bent and moved its neck gracefully like a swan. It seemed that the music of a flute was heard by the snake's invisible ears and created the effect of a waterfall as it because it swayed its neck in a similar way. So he walked on further. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as snake charmer played, he proceeded further. The boy walked towards the snake charmer because, as his parents had warned him to remain away from the unpleasant music played by such a man, he walked further. There was a roundabout in a full swing. Man, woman, and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout, please, father, mother. Then here we come to know that the child had seen the roundabout swing and it was full of men, women, and children who were enjoying the ride. The boy watched the people on the roundabout and then, with a lots of courage, expressed his desire to go on the roundabout. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, he turned to look on other side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. When his parents did not reply, he turned towards them. He saw that they were nowhere around. He looked around and behind, but his parents were nowhere to be seen. Here it means that he was lost. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat with a sudden jerk of his body. He ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, Mother, Father. Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic stricken, he ran on one side first, then to the other, hither and hither in all directions. knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. Hither and hither means here and there. The boy cried loudly, jerked his body and ran here and there, calling out for his parents. He was full of fear and tears started rolling down from his cheeks. As he wailed, as he cried, and ran around, his turban opened and his clothes became muddy. At little distances on the green grass he could see, through his filmy eyes, man and woman talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow cloths, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people, who seemed to laugh at and talk for the sake of laughing and talking. Here intently means carefully. So after some time he gave up. The loud cries turned into mild sobs. So he started sobbing. As he didn't find his father and mother and he thought that he is lost here, so he started sobbing. He saw some people standing and talking and tried to find if his parents were among them. The laughter and talk of the people were meaningless for the child. He was simply searching for his parents, right? He ran quickly again, this time to the shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's leg, his little sobs lingering. Here, lingering means lasting for a long time. Mother, father, near the entrance to the temple. However, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulder. Here, congested means full of, and hefty, large and heavy. Thrust means push. The boy ran towards a temple which was crowded with people. He ran through the legs of men, calling out for his parents. The crowd was pushing each other as he neared the entrance of the temple. The boy got scared of huge, strong men who stared people with their murderous eyes and pushed them with their strong and big shoulders. The poor boy struggled to the thrust a way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movement. He might have been trampled underfoot had he got shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice. Father, mother, a man in the surging crowd heard his cry and stopping with great difficulty lifted him up in his arm. The boy could have been crushed under the feet of the man had his cries not been heard by the man in the crowd. So this boy, he had lifted the child in his arm. As the boy was crying out by saying, Father, mother, a man in the crowd has heard his voice, and with a great difficulty he lifted him up in his arm. How did you get there, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into a thousand shrill sobs, and he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. As the man got the child out of the crowd, he asked him how he had reached there and what were his parents' name. The boy cried even more and repeated that he wanted to go his parents. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." Here, soothe means relax or comfort. The man tried to relax the child by taking him to the roundabout swing. He offered him a ride, but the child screamed and wept loudly that he wanted his parents. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. "Listen to that nice music, child," he pleaded, but the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man looked at him near the balloon, thinking the bright color of the balloon would distract the child's attention and quieten him. "Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon?" he persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloon and just sobbed, "I want my father, I want my mother." Here, pleaded means requested and double means pitched strain, uses of a lot of force. The man started walking back on the same route which the child had taken. So he took the child to the snake charmer. He asked him to listen to the nice music being played by the snake charmer. The child shut his ears with his fingers and screamed loudly that he wanted his parents. The man took the child to the bright colored balloon, hoping that he might get cheered by seeing them. He offered a balloon to the child, but he turned and wept for father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller said, "Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck?" Bore means carried. The man tried to make the child happy and took him to the flower seller. He asked him to smell the fragrance of the flower and offered him a garland, right? The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sobs, "I want my mother, I want my father." Here, reiterated means repeated. The child refused to smell the flowers that he wanted to buy earlier because now his priority is to get his parents. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of sweet shop. "What sweets would you like, child?" he asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." Disconsolate means unhappy and unable to be comforted. Charge, a person or thing entrusted to the care of someone. Finally, the man took him to the sweetmeat seller and offered to buy sweets for him. Still, the child didn't want his favorite sweets but wanted his parents. So students, here we come to know that the several efforts made by the strangers to soothe the distressed child. The man wanted the child to listen to music that the snake charmer was playing on his flute to swaying cobra. But here the child didn't want to listen that nice music, and he didn't want to eat any sweets. He didn't want to get any balloons and many more things that he wanted when he was with parents. But now he is alone. He is lost here. So without parents, he don't want anything anymore. So here, that is a very interesting good chapter, The Lost Child, written by Mulk Raj Anand. So students, I think you have understood this. This is all about this chapter. Thank you all of you. Study well, keep learning.